How to make Swiss steak. First you will need some Swiss steak, some oil for your pan, salt and pepper, and some flour. Now let's get ready and put the oil in your pan. Next, you will need to take your Swiss steak, put it in flour, both sides, salt and pepper, both sides, and put it in your frying pan. Don't forget to turn the stove on. Next, another one. And you just repeat this until you get all your steak salt and peppered and floured. Now that your Swiss steak is frying, let it brown on both sides. And when one side is done, you'll flip it to the other. And do this on a high temperature to make sure it browns. It should be done in like not even 5 minutes. Total time. Ooh, nice and brown. This took about 2 minutes. And now we'll just let it go again on this side for another 2 minutes. When your Swiss steak is done, you'll have a little bit of blood showing. And that's okay, because we are going to bake this in the oven at a temperature of 350. You take the Swiss steak out, put it in a pan. And that's what it will look like. And we will make the gravy now. And for your gravy, you will need broth base, beef seasoning, or beef flavored, a pack of mushroom gravy mix, if you like that, a saucepan, and a measuring cup. I usually make about 6 cups of gravy to make sure it covers my meat. And this is the meat after it's all done and in the pan waiting for its gravy. I have my 6 cups of water in the pan. And now I will put, it's 1 teaspoon of base per cup. So I had 6 cups, so I will need 6 teaspoons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5, and 6. Now, as you can see, I don't sit there and measure with a measuring cup or those little measuring spoons. I just measure with the teaspoon and put it in there. And you'll let this boil. And when it's all done, you will pour it in your pan. Now that the beef gravy has started to boil, we'll let that go for 5 minutes. Okay, now that the gravy has boiled, I just add in my mushroom pack. And I will whisk that in. After that is whisked in, I will pour this into my pan that has the meat in it. And don't worry, it's not going to be a thick gravy. We will thicken that up after it comes out of the oven. And don't forget to preheat your oven at 350. And this will all cook for about an hour to an hour and a half. You'll also need some tin foil to cover your pan. Or if you are doing a lot and you won't be doing it in a cake pan like I am, you can use a roaster. And your roaster already has a lid, so just use that. But here we are with the mushroom pack put in, and we will now pour this in our pan. And there you see, all your meat is covered. And you have a little bit left over. And you will be using that to make your gravy, along with your liquid that you have inside your pan. You'll pour back in your pan, and you will thicken it up when it's all done and it's coming out of the oven. Alright, I'm going to foil this and stick it in the oven. Here you see I have my foil, and I'm just going to tighten that down. And put this in the oven. Here it is in the oven, all ready to bake. And I will set my timer for about an hour. And a half. And there we go. Okay, our Swiss steak is done and out of the oven. Let's take the tin foil off and take a look. Alright, there it is. Now we're going to take the drippings from this coming out of the oven, and we are going to pour it back into the saucepan, and we are going to make gravy. Okay, as you see, I poured some of the liquid out of the pan and stuck it back in the saucepan. And now we're going to take some cornstarch, and we are going to put some of that in a cup, And we are going to whisk that up. I'll start out by using about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to an 8-ounce glass of water. And we will mix that in the saucepan. I already have 1 tablespoon in there, and there's another one. Now I'm just going to whisk this up. And I am going to get my gravy boiling on the stove. Oop, that's the front. Let's do the back. And we'll bring that to a boil, and we will add in the cornstarch. Okay, now our gravy is thickened. And we will take that off the stove and let it sit for a minute. And all we have to do is pour that over your Swiss steak. Okay, let's plate some of this up and see what it looks like. And there you have it. Swiss steak. Enjoy.